story of 300 is just about bravery in the face of impossible odds, in the face of not having a chance to win. You still do it. Boils down to just a bunch of guys saying, okay, we die for that.
Heroes aren't the people who necessarily get a medal at the end of the story. The heroes are people who do what is right because it is right.
All based on a true story. It's an incredible story which has been an inspiration to so many people throughout history. It is a kick-ass story full of passion and politics and brutality existing in this kind of hyper-real, beautiful, emotional world. The king realizes that he has to take his best men and go and make a stand to save his nation, to fight the most massive army ever assembled. And they have to go and do what is their dream, essentially, which is to die in the perfect battle.
It's just a tough way of life, you know what I mean? There's no kind of softness in it at all. It's just about survival. You know, the boys are sent off when they're 7 to kind of fight and live for themselves.
If a child was born sickly or deformed, the child was murdered at birth. They would throw them into the sea. But out of this arose this heroic class that the world had never seen before. Those were the Spartans.
Let me guess. You must be Xerxes.
Yours is a fascinating tribe. There's much our cultures could share.
Well, haven't you noticed? We've been sharing our culture with you all morning.
There's a simplistic way for this man to go.
I would gladly kill any of my own men for victory.
And I would die for any one of mine.
Which is, we don't submit, we don't surrender, we don't retreat. If you're not going to go away, then let's fight. And let's fight in the best way we can. You know, they say pray to the winds, trust in the gods. I'm not going to pray to the winds. There's a time to pray to the winds, and then there's a time to go and kick some ass.
There was no way to tell the story of 300 without it being amazingly brutal. These soldiers, they ripped each other to pieces. Essentially, they were with a shield and a spear and just stabbing away. The spear broke, they'd use the other end of it. And if that broke, they'd pull their sword out. It would have been absurd to have softened any of that.
Frank's book, 300, is a graphic novel. It's a piece of beautiful art. You know, you look at it, and it's just like every frame is like a beautiful painting. For me, it was like, you wrote a graphic novel, how can I make that into a movie? Not make it into like a Hollywood version of a movie, but into like, how can I make that live? Action!
He wanted to make Frank Miller's version of this battle.
Really, there's nothing in that comic book which you could actually photograph. Everything is completely over the top. It's done in a very distinctive comic book style. There's no camera in the world that you could use to photograph something that would belong in that book.
The look development has been a big part of this process, and to try and make the movie look like something that is not commonplace in cinema. To me, it's like you go to the movies because you want an experience that's different from what you do every day. You want to be taken to a place that's different. And so for me, that's what we've been trying to do with 300 in every aspect, whether it's like landscapes or battles or action or architecture, everything in the way we've taken from what Frank did and we've said, okay, let's make that real, but let's not try and make it into a thing that you've seen.